Jane here, and I just realized that I did not film an intro for my Buzzwordathon for May. It is currently June, and I'm trying to wrap up loose ends, realized I need to film this. So I wanted to do so, but also be transparent about it. So for those of you who are new to Buzzwordathon, it is something that Booksandlala came up with. It is prompts that you read over the course of the month. And May's prompts were the word to, either T-O or T-O-O in the title, or an image on the front with eyes. Now, I will tell you, when I first started this project, I felt like I was going to be really cool and make it so the eyes were like a predominant or cool or special effect or like something special about the eyes. The month did not turn out that way. So if there are eyes on the cover in any way, shape, or form, a person who has eyes, we use that as our prompt for this month. In the description below, there is going to be a link to Booksandlala's announcement video if you want to learn more. There is also a playlist of all of my Buzzwordathons to date. Now let's get into the books that I read for Buzzwordathon in the month of May. I just wanted to check in. I started a new book. This one has a person and they have eyes. So this is The Glittering Edge. It is an ARC. It is coming out May 25th. So it'll come out actually right before you see this blog, probably. I'm actually going to put this book down so I can talk to you, and then I'll just put a picture of the book off to the side here, because I've realized that since I'm using my phone camera and taking upright pictures, it's really hard to get both my face in the camera and the book in the camera. And I know as a reader, I like seeing the cover, so I think this will work a lot better. So this is The Glittering Edge. I just finished chapter 4. It is a YA book, and there's a girl named Penny, and she so far has gone to a party. And at this party, two boys got in a fight. Their names are Corey and Alonzo, and they are from like rival families. So years and years and years ago, their grandparents had, I don't remember the exact details, but something happened. There was a love affair somewhere and people died. Alonzo's family is believed to be witches and have magic. And so these boys at this party had a fight. Penny, who seems to be our main character so far, we've gotten Penny's perspective and Corey's perspective. Penny, after the fight in the party, went home, and her mom has been like, hey, I don't want you hanging out with those boys. They are bad news. So I'm pretty early on in the book. I really struggled with the first chapter, orienting myself to what was happening. There are a lot of characters and a lot of players in this book. Since this is an ARC, there is certain things that I saw on the front page, like it says a family tree TK, which I assume means there's going to be an insert of the family tree that if I were reading a finished copy, I could refer back to and be like, oh, this is who this character is. That makes a lot more sense. But it was a lot of characters and a lot of backstory in the first chapter or so. Now that I'm 4 chapters in, I'm feeling a little more confident and I am starting to enjoy it. But the first chapter, and actually probably the first 2 chapters, I struggled a little bit. And then Corey's chapter really was a struggle too, because then you add all of his different family members and Alonzo's family members, and it's a lot. So kind of a big cast, which is a little hard for me. But I like the idea and the story and the personalities and the writing so far. So I will give you an update when I've read a little bit more. Right now I am door dashing today, so I'm kind of reading between dashes while I wait for my next order. So I don't know how far I'll get today, but I'm door dashing the next couple days. So hopefully I'll have some reading time as I wait to deliver orders. Hello, it is a crazy, stormy, rainy day. But I did want to take the opportunity to give you an update on the book that I'm currently reading. I am reading The Glittering Edge, and I am just about halfway through. I am really enjoying this book overall. So it is YA, but I am not finding it the kind of YA that I normally get frustrated with. I like our main character, Penny, and actually, like, Penny is the main character, but there's also like two other characters who are kind of sharing the spotlight, and they are Corey and Alonzo. And I like Alonzo a little bit more than Corey, but I think that's partly because Alonzo's a bit of an underdog, and I feel bad for him. And also, like, as a kid who also was not the popular kid, I feel like I can relate to Alonzo maybe a little bit better than I can personally relate to Corey. Anyway, so I think I told you that Corey and Alonzo are from rival families, and Alonzo's family supposedly cursed Corey's family. Well, unfortunately, Penny's mother has become a victim of this curse. And Alonzo has had feelings for Penny for a while, and Corey wants to break the curse for his own reasons. So the kids have teamed up to try to figure out, how to deal with this curse that has happened. So right now we're still kind of, a lot of the beginning was the setup. Like I said, we're kind of in the middle, and we're just now starting to really have the kids working together to try to figure out a little bit more about what happened with the curse. There's some question if everything went down the way that Corey's family has claimed with this whole curse thing, or if maybe there's some stuff that has been not been told entirely truthfully to people, including Corey. Like, I think one of the things that's nice about this book so far is that everybody is a victim. All of these characters are innocent. They are just in a very complicated situation. All of the stuff that happened was Corey and Alonzo's grandfather's generation that caused this curse thing to happen. So Corey and Alonzo and Penny, even though Corey and Alonzo feel like rivals because they're, from different households that have a history of hating each other, they don't necessarily personally have a reason to hate each other. And of course, Penny has been dragged in this because her mom got cursed through no fault of Penny's own. And breaking the curse is a benefit to Corey so that his future people in his life don't have the same curse issue happen. So I am really engaged with this book. I am also just a little bit slumpy. So it has taken me, we're about halfway through the month, quite honestly, and this is the only book I've really been reading. And I have a feeling this is going to be a fairly short reading blog unless things pick up, because I just am not reading with any speed right now. April, we had a lot of personal stuff go on. May, there's been some personal stuff too. So yeah, reading is on the back seat, but I am at least making strides towards reading, and I'm very excited that I'm getting some of it done. And I am enjoying this. I would love to finish this book in the next couple days. I don't know how realistic it is because, again, I'm not reading as often as I'd like. When I do read, these chapters are short. They're very easy to get through. They're very, it's also a very good book for bite-sized reading because the chapters are like 3-4 pages. So if I need to just read like a chapter and then put the book down, I can, which right now for me is something I am doing just because of the complex, busy, crazy things in my life. So this book is actually perfect for what I'm doing right now, and I'm engaged in it. I really am interested in it. I just am not in a reading mood very much right now, and that is not this book's fault. Like, despite the fact that I feel a little bit slumpy, right now I'm having like a 4-star experience with this book at this point. Like, that could obviously change. Things could go downhill. Things could get stupid. We all know books do that. But right now, at this moment, I'm having a 4-star experience with this book. I'm interested in it. I want to know what happens. I'm engaged. I just am personally a little bit slumpy, and that has nothing to do with this book. It is definitely a me problem. But I will come back to you once we finish this book and or start another one, because I don't have a current audiobook going right now, and I have some driving that I'm going to be doing in a few days. So I am going to switch things up a little bit and use my audiobook I plan to audiobook one of the physical books I have that is also a prompt for this month's Buzzwordathon, one of the 2s, since we haven't done a 2 yet, and I want to at least make sure in this vlog I get 1 with the eyes, which is the eyes we said was Glittering Edge, and then the 2 in the title. And I have 2 books on my shelf that I've picked out for this reading vlog that have 2 in it that are audiobook form, so I'm not entirely sure which one I'm gonna go with. I'm leaning one way though, but ultimately in a couple days when I go driving, that will depend on what I read. So yeah, I will update you when there's updates. I would love it if I would just finish this book in the next couple days and then we can move on to more books, but this month is just this month. On the bright side, a lot of the things going on, unlike last month, are, well, not all of them are positive changes, but I just got a new job, a part-time job to go on top of my regular job. So not like a new career path or anything, but I just did an interview as a lunch lady, a substitute lunch lady for the local school system. And if all goes well, I will be, I just have to pass the background check and do the fingerprints and stuff. And then I will be starting in August. So that was exciting. But that has also been like a lot going on as I did job search for a second job. My main job I'm still at, but there is a lot of restructuring in my company, and there have been some people made redundant. And right now I am just very much trying not to be made redundant. You know, it's very difficult when you are not, I think and hope that I am a small enough fish and have been there long enough that I will not be made redundant very quickly. I've been at my job for 10 years, 10 years this year, but it's still big changes, hopefully in the end good changes. But yeah, so I'm, like I said, getting a second job, partly to help with the anxiety about all the changes, and partly just because I've been working 2 jobs. It's just a different kind of 2 jobs. So if you are new to this vlog, I got laid off from my other second job. I want to say it was February, so earlier this year. So previously I worked for a marketing company doing social media for one of their accounts. And I got laid off when the account closed and they didn't need me. They didn't have another account to put me on, which was fine. So I've been doing DoorDash, and I still plan to continue DoorDash, and I love DoorDash, but DoorDash is not super consistent. And so that's something that I'm going to be doing, but also I wanted something with a little more consistency. And my hope is that substitute lunch lady is a little more consistent as far as when I pick up shifts. I can expect to be paid during that shift. With DoorDash, I can pick up a 5-hour shift and work, or at least like have my phone on, be ready to dash for 5 hours, but not have orders and only make like $5. Whereas obviously a job that you are paid hourly, you have to go and work the whole time, but you are also paid the whole time you were there. So big changes. Also, of course, a lot of you know we are preparing to get rats. We're not getting rats until August, but that has been a lot of like preparation, learning, educating ourselves, starting to collect the things that we're going to need, try to decide what we need. So just a lot of big changes. And also my one daughter is going to be moving in with her dad during the summer and is going to live there through high school, so she can go to high school with her siblings that are in Georgia. So lots of changes, probably all adding to the reading slump. Like I said, most of them are not bad changes. I'm excited for my daughter. Like, obviously I'm sad and I'll miss her, but I'm very excited that she's gonna have the opportunities to be with her siblings more, which I know she's really been missing out on them. And I am, excited about the job opportunities, but also life is a lot. So yes, book, good. Life, crazy. When I have a new update, I'll let you know. I started the audiobook version of Passenger to Frankfurt. This is an Agatha Christie, but it is not a Poirot. At least I'm pretty sure it's not a Poirot, and it's not a Marple. So I believe this is one of Christie's standalones. I just finished the 7th chapter, so I wanted to kind of tell you what it's about so far. I'll be honest, it's a little bit confusing, and I don't know that I like it necessarily as well as I've liked, like, Poirot's. But we have a guy, Stafford Nye, I believe is his name, and he works for the government. I'm not entirely sure what he does in the government, but he has some kind of government job. He is flying home from a foreign country, and this book, I think, takes place in the 60s or 70s, maybe. There is kind of references to Vietnam and napalm and stuff like that. So I'm thinking that we're 60s, 70s time period, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not necessarily always good at exact history. So he is flying home, and this girl comes up to him on the flight, and she says, look, they had to divert the plane because of traffic, and I am afraid that if I get off this plane, I'm going to get murdered. So I want to steal your passport, or to give me your passport. I'm going to, like, take your clothes, take your hair, do these things. I don't remember if she really had to steal his clothes. She had to take something from him besides his passport. And she's like, and I'm going to be you. Now, she does bear a striking resemblance to him. And he kind of feels sorry for her because he doesn't know if she's, like, crazy or if she really is in danger. And also, like, he has a sister who passed away that she looks a lot like. And he's a little hesitant at first. He's like, wait a second, what do you mean you need to have my passport and pretend you're me? She's like, listen, I'm going to basically drug your drink. And what I want you to do is I want you to, like, walk away, go up, and I guess on planes at this time, there's like a gift shop. Go up to the gift shop. I'm going to put a Mickey in your drink. And then you come back, drink it, and you'll pass out, and you can tell them I stole your stuff. So he ends up going along with this, which is just a wild plan. It is. And I will say, I don't necessarily know that we know enough about him when this all goes down, because this all happens like in the first chapter, to believe that he would really do this. We do have some people kind of comment about his character later that kind of are trying to convince you that it would be fine for him to do, but I wasn't necessarily convinced. This seems like a pretty wild thing. So anyway, he does what she asks. He takes the drink and passes out, and she takes his passport, and he goes to report back to work, and they're like, this seems suspicious. He's like, yeah, it was crazy. Don't know what happened. Because, of course, he's not going to tell them what happened. And then he puts, or he thinks somebody's come into his house and gone through his stuff. And it apparently was the girl, because his passport is back. He finds it among his stuff. So he's like, okay, cool. She returned it to me. He's like, but I really kind of want to know what's going on. So he puts this, like, message in the newspaper and is like, hey, passenger, like a real cryptic message. And she replies to him, and they meet. And she gives him this, like, secret message that he's still trying to decode where I'm at. And then the chapter I just read, he went and visited his aunt, and his aunt magically has some clues. His aunt is intuiting things. I don't know. I have a lot of issues with where we are so far, and, like, maybe a lot of it will be revealed, but, like, everybody seems to know that what's happening is super sus, and he hasn't even told anybody what's happening. And yet his aunt is just like, I bet there's a girl somewhere. And, oh, by the way, this very important piece to the clue that I think you need, I'm going to tell you about. And here's a warning, and this, that, and this. It's very convenient so far, in a way that Poirot, which I really enjoy, typically is not. Now, it could be that I'm missing things because I am listening to this on audio, and obviously, like a lot of times when I read, it's easier to get all the details correct. But this book is kind of wild, and I think it's more meant to be like I don't know that it's like a mystery, like the kind of mystery I'm used to. This seems more like spies and espionage. I feel like we're going in that direction, which is not what I really want out of Christie, but I do want to read her to zero. So, I mean, it's fine that this book isn't working for me. It has comparable, like the closest vibe I can get is The Big Four, which I also didn't care for because it was also like a 007, but that was a Poirot version of it. So yeah, I'm not loving this book so far. It's really not giving me the classic Christie vibes that I enjoy, but it is what it is. So, I understand-ish what's going on. I'm not super engaged in it yet. Maybe that will change as I continue. It's not a super long book, so I'm guessing I'm about a quarter of the way through, maybe slightly more, maybe closer to a third. So we'll see how things progress from here. I will be taking a fairly long drive tomorrow, so I'm going to the Newark Book Fest, and that is about an hour away from me. I'm not going to be an author there this time. Our life is just too crazy this year, so I decided not to get a table, but I'm going to go support the authors that are there and possibly buy myself books. I'm going to try not to buy myself books, but I have very little self-control where books are concerned. This is not a shocker to anybody who knows me. Far too many books. So anyway, I'm going to read a little bit more of this tomorrow, and I'll hopefully give you an update. I don't know that I'm going to finish it tomorrow, but I do hope I'll make quite a bit of progress. So yeah, that is where we're at, and I will come back to you when I get further in this. Update time. So I am 60% through Passenger to Frankfurt, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna DNF it. Yeah, I am. So a couple things. Number one, this is a spy novel, and I am just not enjoying it particularly. I really love Christie's mysteries. I love Poirot, but this is just not hitting. So I believe I told you earlier, we have a guy who is meets a girl on a flight, and he helps her. She drags him in to being a spy, is basically what happens. And on one hand, there's some really interesting conversations about the charisma involved in convincing people to do terrible things, which felt really relevant to the modern environment. Also, just a lot of things about World War II history that felt really relevant to the modern environment. That being said, I'm really not enjoying it. I don't care. I'm bored. I find because it is so relevant to the current environment, I'm a little bit triggered by it. Also, I don't necessarily, I think, have as much understanding of the political climate of the 60s and 70s in Europe. And so I'm having some trouble understanding some of the issues that are going on in this book. Like, I understand the 60s in the USA. And some of this seems to be similar. You have a lot of complaints about students and students rioting and students wanting to change the world in a way that the powers that be do not want the world changed. But I feel like I'm missing big chunks of my understanding of British history during the 1960s, which is when I assume this book takes place. It was published in the 1970s. but it is very, I wasn't sure if it was from the 60s or 70s, but it definitely, like, references Vietnam. And it references the student riots and things. The other thing that is bothering me about this book, and kind of the thing that made me go, I think I want to DNF it, there is a character who is obese. And, you know, back in history, writers have not been kind to heavy characters. And Christie is no exception. The description of this obese character is meant to be disgusting and meant to be offensive. You know, you are not supposed to like this character because she is obese. And you're supposed to think she must be a terrible person because she is obese. And it just made me very uncomfortable because it wasn't like a one-time discussion of this bad guy being heavy. It was like, ooh, their fatty fingers and blah, blah, blah. It was very, very uncomfortable description. I already hate when they make the obese people the bad guys, but then to add it when it's just a lot of description about how disgusting they are as an obese person, you know, to clearly bring home that this person looks like a bad guy. So yeah, this book, that was like where I was like, oh, I don't think I want to do this anymore. But then I was like, oh, maybe it'll get better. Maybe it'll get better. And maybe I'll care. And this book is broken up into like smaller books. So you have like part 1, part 2, part 3, or book 1, book 2, book 3. And I am, I believe, now in book 3. And I am not interested. I'm offended by the description of this obese person. And I'm just not having a good time. There is no way that I could give this book any more than 3 stars. And it would be 3 stars only because I don't think I can find enough fault with it to make it a 2-star in my personal rating system. So the way I rate books when it comes to 3 or 2 stars, if a book meets the minimum requirements for a book and I don't think it has actual huge gaping problems, I have to label it a 3-star. It is a book. It is a readable book. And I think most people would be satisfied with their read, at least at an average, this is a book. So the things I'm giving 2 stars to is things that I feel like don't make sense or have major plot holes or have super, super issues. It's not necessarily enjoyment based. Typically, if a book is well written, but I didn't enjoy it, I'll put it at a 3. I rarely put stuff at a 2 unless I only put stuff at a 2 if it's really got problems. And I don't think this book has the kind of problems that I'm looking for as a problems, like plot holes or things like that. I'm just not enjoying it at all. And honestly, like, I'm kind of slumpy. So I was going to try to push through it, but I think I'm too slumpy to push through this. I don't think I want to. So yeah. It's disappointing. It's a Christie, and Christie's one that I want to read to 0. I'd like to at least try all of her books, but this one very, very, very much is not hitting for me, and I don't know that if I tried it again, it would hit for me. I think this is just not for me. I am going to pass this book on to my brother. He also reads Christie. Maybe he will have a better time with it. Maybe he will enjoy a spy novel a lot more than I'm enjoying it, but I hate this. I shouldn't say I hate it. I don't think it's poorly done. I am just not engaged with it. And I'm a little bit grossed out by the treatment of the obese person. And I just have no interest in any of the stuff happening in the book. So yeah. Well, I guess that means I have to find another book that has the prompt with the word 2 in it. We are at the 20th of the month because I'm not reading very much because I'm slumpy. So I'm not sure yet what's going to happen or what I'm going to read next. But I'll let you know. I've started reading a new audiobook, and it is Girl's Guide to Love and Supper Clubs. It is about this girl named Hannah who loves to bake. She is currently in a relationship with a complete jerk named Adam, and I am assuming that that relationship is going to be ending soon. I certainly hope so, because I'm kind of getting irritated with her. So I'm not very far. I think I'm 2 chapters in, and she and Adam in the first chapter went to Adam's parents' house for a dinner. And it is clear that Hannah and Adam are not a good couple. Adam's parents disapprove of Hannah. Adam is really eager to please his parents, doesn't want to stand up for his parents, and is having a lot of issues with how Hannah appears to people. Not her looks, but she's quirky, and he doesn't want a quirky girlfriend because he wants to be president of the United States or something, and she wouldn't make a good first lady. So she is really into baking, and even though she is well educated, she went to Cornell, and she has a degree in something, and she's doing, I want to say, government work or research work. She wrote some kind of paper, or helped write a paper. Her passion is baking and cooking, and she really, really wants to start a catering company. And Adam just doesn't understand her, and just doesn't understand why she would want to bake and cook and do all the things that she is really passionate about. So I am hoping very soon she breaks up with him, or he breaks up with her, because the girl is going to be so much happier with anybody who is not Adam. And he's really irritating me, and her desire to hold on to him is kind of ticking me off, because it's clear he is toxic AF. So I'm not super far in, but I am so far enjoying it and engaged. I just hope she gets rid of Adam and finds a guy worthy of her, because Adam is not it. All right, I will let you know when I get further. I finished reading The Glittering Edge, and I've decided to give it a 4-star. The ending, I had some mixed feelings. It ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger. I don't know if there's going to be another book, or if it just has kind of a unsettling, complex end. It wasn't just the end itself that is causing me to give it a 4-star. I thought a lot of the last quarter of the book I didn't like quite as well as the first 3/4 of the book. But overall, I did find the book a success. I enjoyed it as a read, and I would recommend it to others. So if you are thinking of picking up The Glittering Edge, if it seems like something you'd be interested in, I would recommend it. I thought it was very fun, very witchy vibes. There is a really cool lightning storm in it, which hence the background that I am using for this, very appropriate for the ending of the book and the general crazy, witchy, dark vibes of the book. So did enjoy, would recommend. At the end could have worked better for me, but a solid read, especially when I am a fairly slumpy reader right now. Update time. So I am still working on the audiobook of Girl's Guide to Love and Supper Clubs. And I don't love it, and I'm not entirely sure I'm going to finish it, but I'm still undecided. So basically, Hannah now, which is our main character, she has broken up with her boyfriend. She has gone off to live, well, her boyfriend broke up with her. She's gone off to live in this apartment, and one of the things she's trying to do is start this supper club. To do so, she does some kind of shady things that are against the law and against the rules, and, invading people's privacy and just doing some things that she shouldn't be doing. I will say she has met a guy at the supper club thing that I assume is going to be a romantic interest, but I don't like Hannah. I think that's my problem right now. I don't hate the book, and it's an interesting idea and plot, but I don't like Hannah, and I don't think she makes good choices, and I get kind of frustrated and angry with her, and that is kind of the theme that I have going on with her right now. I'm hoping that as a character, she grows and changes and develops and becomes amazing, but we're at the 40% mark in the audiobook, and that hasn't happened yet, and right now she just makes me crazy. So I'm gonna push through a little bit longer. We're also coming to the end of the month, and there's definitely books I'm excited to read next month. So if I don't finish it this month, I may DNF it just as I don't really care if I finish it or not, because that's kind of how I feel about it right now. But until the month is over, I want to push through. That being said, I also started another book, and this is a like physical read, and this will be the last physical read I read for the month, and it is Ryan Higa's How to Write Good. It does have obviously 2, and then it also has a person on the front who has eyes, so it actually would work for either. I will tell you, I picked up this book also as my writing book of the month, and I don't think that was a good call. This book is a lot less about writing than I expected. And I will be really honest, if this wasn't such a super quick read, I would probably already have DNF'd it. I am not engaging well with it. So while it is called How to Write Good, it is actually only vaguely about writing. And it's really weird because, like, if you look at the, like, content list, it seems like it would be about writing. Our chapter titles are Chapter 1, Who is your story about? Chapter 2, Where does your story take place? Chapter 3, Life is an obstacle and so is a book. Chapter 4, You're not alone. Chapter 5, Things that have already happened. Chapter 6, Slow it down, speed it up. Chapter 7, Dialogue, or how a memoir isn't always true while still totally being true. Number 8, It's all in the details. Number 9, Characters are people too. Number 10, Love is in the air. 11 is voice. 12, You can't always get what you want. 13, The dark night of the soul. And the last one is epilogue. The epilogue starts at page 187. I'm currently on page 73. So I'm flying through this. I've only been reading this book for like I started it today. Here's the thing. I have no idea who this Ryan Higa guy is. He looks vaguely familiar, but he's supposedly a YouTuber, and I don't know anything about his YouTube channel. Like I said, I thought this was going to be a book about writing, and it is not really. It's like vaguely about writing with like occasional little writing tips, but it's mostly about this YouTuber who I don't know and don't care about. One thing that is kind of cool is a lot of the book is told in comic form, which is one of the reasons it's a super quick, easy read. These are kind of, I think, meant to be funny little asides between him and the ghostwriter who's helping him with this book. But yeah, this is not what I expected when I picked it up. And again, that's my problem, not the book's. And it does kind of tell you on the back that it is not really about writing. But I didn't read the back, and I just assumed because it says How to Write Good that it's about writing. And again, looking at the chapter titles, I also assumed it was a book about writing at maybe a beginner level. And like I said, there's occasional little tiny bits about writing, but this guy's not even a writer. He's using a ghostwriter, and he's just like adding little tiny bits about writing, I don't know, for funsies. It's really not what I was expecting at all. And like I said, because I don't know who this guy is, I don't really care. I'm slightly interested in the story he's telling, which so far has been when he was like about to move into middle grade, his parents changed the school he was at, and he's telling kind of the story about the difficulties of going to a different school than he had started out on. He is also Asian, and this new school was not as diverse as his old school. And so he is, struggling a little bit with feeling like a fish out of water. So yeah, I'm at a place where I am just curious enough to continue. Normally I am a DNF queen, but I'm just curious enough to continue and push through, at least for now. But this is not a book about writing, and it is not anything that I'm particularly interested in. And I think if you have no idea who this YouTuber is, this book is probably not for you. You will probably have the same, kind of general thought of, like I'm having. So yeah, we are on the 25th of the month, so there's like 5 days left. So I'm gonna read these 2 books-ish and see if I can get through them. If not, I will probably DNF them, because I'll be honest, neither of these books am I very invested in. And I have books that I'm much excited to start next month, although I'm only committing next month to 2 books. I already know what they are, because I am still slumpy, and I'm worried I'm going to continue to be slumpy. And I don't know when the slumpiness is going to end. Hopefully soon, because I hate being slumpy like this. And gosh darn it, I love books. I'm not sure what the problem is, but I just have not felt compelled to read, and everything I'm picking up is not really hitting for me. So it's been kind of a bummer, to be honest with you. But that's my check-in. I will let you know at least whether I finish these or DNF these. If I finish them, what my rating is. We'll have at least one more discussion, maybe a couple, if these books end up having anything interesting happen or whatever. But right now, I assume we're getting close to the end of this video. You know better than I am, because you can see the timestamp and I can't. And this could go all the way off the wall. Who knows? But yeah, that's where we're at. I'll see you in a bit. Bye. Hello. Today is the last day of school for my kids, and I am at their school in the parking lot waiting for school to start so I can go in and get the things I need from the nurse's office that we had left there during the year, medications, etc. So while I do that, I thought I would update you. I finished How to Write Good. Here's the thing. Didn't like it, but probably because I have no idea about the author. It was supposed to be a book on writing, in my opinion. It was not about writing. It had like a couple little instances about writing. It was very readable, and maybe if you like the YouTuber, you'll care more about the story. The story is basically him dealing with being in a new school, and it is not a good experience for him. He suffers some mental health issues, and I should say there's some trigger warnings I would point out for like ideation. And I was a little bit concerned about that. I don't know what this guy's YouTube channel is like, but I definitely would have been a little hesitant to give this book to a teenager maybe who is having these struggles, as I wouldn't want to encourage ideation, even if, like, as an adult, I recognize that that is something that can happen when you are struggling at school. So yes, I am going to give it a 3-star, despite the fact that I didn't like it, because as I've kind of mentioned before, I believe in this video, the book doesn't do anything terribly wrong. There's things I don't like about it. I didn't enjoy it, but it was readable. And I can't sit here and say this was very wrong and it ruined it as a book. It is a book. It is a functional book that did not meet my personal expectations, but I didn't find it vile, and I didn't think it had anything wrong with it other than I didn't enjoy it and it didn't meet my expectations. So yeah, that book is done. I am still working on Girl's Guide to Love and Supper Clubs. I read about 3 more chapters yesterday, and I still don't like it. I have a couple more days, and I just don't want to start a new book until June starts, so I'm going to keep pushing through. But I don't think that this is a book that if I finish it, it will be probably because I had nothing else to do and I needed a book, rather than this book is amazing and I love it. So yeah, it is not going well. I still do not like the main character. She just continues to make bad choices, and she just, I think part of it is it's supposed to be kind of a comedy, a rom-com, and some of the humor is maybe not hitting for me, and I think that is adding to my general sense of not enjoying it. So not only do I not like the main character, and I don't necessarily find her relatable, and I think she makes a lot of bad choices and needs to grow a lot as a character, but also a lot of the situations that I think I'm supposed to see as funny are just not hitting as funny for me. Because we had kind of a situation in the book earlier where, in the chapter that I just read, where she makes a mistake at work, and like, I knew it was coming a mile away, but also like, it just wasn't funny, and I'm not sure why it wasn't funny, but it just was not funny. So yeah, I really am not enjoying it, but I'm too lazy to DNF it right now. I'll DNF it when we get closer to the end of the month, or I'll finish it. Or maybe it'll just grab me and drag me along for the ride, but at this point, I've got to be at the 50% mark. I've got to be close to that, and I just don't think that's going to happen. So yep, that's where we're at, people. Very disappointing. This whole month has been kind of disappointing as a read. Hoping next month's better. I will update you once we know. All right, guys, I realized as I was working on this that I had not filmed my finale for Buzzwordathon. So I wanted to come with you and let you know that I did end up DNFing Girls Guide to Love and Supper Clubs. I will say I think this is a soft DNF for now. I wasn't loving it, but I also definitely realize I'm slumpy. So I'm not entirely sure if I'm never, ever, ever going to read this book again. I'm not automatically throwing it on the unhaul pile, which is what I had originally planned. I think I want to hang on to it a little bit and decide, let it sit for a little while and decide if I want to go back to it. But for now, because the month is over and because I'm overwhelmed with other things, I am just going to put this aside and call it a day for this particular book for now. All right, guys, this has been Jane. Please like, subscribe, and watch out for next month's Buzzwordathon. I'll see you next time. Bye. Pictures and patterns put into words that stream across the page.